It's incredibly unclear to me how long the battery of this like separate light of mine is going to last, so let's hope I can do this fast. Otherwise, it will be dark. I'm warning you now. Hello! Remember when I made a video and I said that I would make more videos and then I didn't make more videos? This is me trying to rectify that. Today, I am planning on doing a couple of things. I would like to, first of all, paint my nails again because I had them painted red and gold. Thank you so much, Sophia. And then it was like a sparkly orangey brown with gold. And now I'm just gonna do straight up gold because it's New York City Comic Con here in the wonderful city of New York. I'm so excited to see people cosplaying and literally everything. I'm so pumped. Last year was so special. We had like a booth set up. So I don't know if that's gonna happen this year. I really have no idea what I'm walking into, but it's gonna be fun, and I'm bringing my partner to his first NYCC, so that'll be super exciting. But yeah, this is Trailblazer color, so I absolutely have to. I'm really bad at painting my nails, so this could get interesting. We're just gonna roll with it. And whatever happens, happens, and that's okay. But the real purpose of this video today is to talk about my song. You've heard me talk about it before. It's called Normal. It's my debut single. And I love watching Genius videos when artists like go through their lyrics and tell you what's up. So I'm gonna do something like that while I very poorly try to paint my nails. Okay? Okay. Oh, also, these are so good. I had a bunch of them in Canada when I was there like a while ago, and Trader Joe's has them, and I get them all the time for Halloween slash autumn because it's just so good. Also tonight, because a bunch of people are in town for the con or just like fun, which is interesting for California people because it is cold here now, I'm meeting up tonight with a bunch of my castmates, and I'm very excited because I haven't met at least a couple of them. So that'll be so fun. Oh my gosh, I've started and now I have to concentrate on this. I guess you're not gonna get a whole lot of my face in this video, but that's okay, right? Right? Maybe I should just explain the premise of the song first. And if you've heard me explain it before, I'm so sorry. Maybe this video can be like a Bible to the song. If you've listened to it, share it and listen to it again. Or don't, whatever floats your boat. And if you haven't, this will be like a really interesting story, like backstory to hear before you do listen to it. So the song is called Normal. I'm so afraid I'm gonna tip this over, hold on. Ugh, did I just rub nail polish on my nose? I really hope not. So the song is called Normal. It's based on, or based off of, I usually say based, what do I say? I said one thing and then the internet told me that the other one's more correct. I don't know. But it's based on Normal People by Sally Rooney. It is a novel by an Irish author. It was turned into a Hulu series, at least here in the US. I think it might be on other streaming services, depending on where you live. Depending on. And I watched the series first, which I usually don't do. I usually try to read it first because I'm a snob. I watched the show and I finished it back in like November of 2020. It came out in 2020, which is a very obviously interesting year to have a release, but also kind of great because like people are home with not much else to do, so good for them. But I finished it. I was in my Hell's Kitchen apartment at the time, and I was basically like in lockdown there with my sister. We were riding out the rest of our lease and trying to like enjoy it, which was very difficult to do. But it was November. I finished this series, and it's a really, really beautiful adaptation of the novel, I would say. It maintained somehow like the great intimacy that the novel creates. And I think both characters are pretty quiet and contemplative. It feels like it should be said a different way. I think it's just contemplative. They really captured that so well, and I finished watching the show literally on my laptop, and I like sat there and was like, gosh, now what? You know? like when you finish a great book or a great anything and you just kind of are sitting there with the feelings of it. So I was sitting there and I was I was literally thinking back to, take a little trip down memory lane with me, guys. I was thinking back to the Chronicles of Narnia, Prince Caspian, Hello Ben Barnes, and I was thinking about, like, you know, in 2007 or whatever, how I would see on YouTube, like, fan edits, fan compilations, what I've heard nowadays is called fan cams, of, like, Susan and Caspian, and it would be like a montage of, you know, their moments set against either the song in the movie, which I love that song, and it's by an artist I used to love dearly, but unfortunately she's very much a Zionist. If anyone was in doubt, free Palestine, baby. But I loved that song, and I still do, but I don't listen to that artist really anymore. But yeah, I, you know, thought about that song. I thought about what other songs I remember, like, being on those videos, and I was like, what would the song sound like for normal people and for Marianne and Connell? And then this song came into my mind. And that was literally back in 2020, and I released this song in 2024, so almost 4 years out from the original concept is when this came to be in other people's minds other than my own. Oh, this is so hard to do. Why did I think it would be a good idea for me to paint my nails while talking in, like, an intriguing and informative manner? I at least hope it's entertaining for you. In any case, I'll show you the results and you will be shocked and amazed and horrified, which is fine because it's October. Also, I fully filmed 2 self-tapes before this, so I'm just kind of all over the place right now, you know? This is what we're working with so far, if you can see it. Okay, anywho. So, in Normal People, the 2 main characters are Marianne and Connell. They grew up in the same place and then they kind of split off and come back together a bunch of different times. Marianne is the much more outspoken one. She's kind of an outsider at home in, like, primary school and all that. I don't know if it's secondary at that point, whatever. She gets in trouble a lot because she's, like, sassy and correct, honestly, whatever. But then in university, she really starts to thrive and, like, suddenly kind of becomes popular and, like, she's been pretty the whole time, but, you know, people actually recognize that she is pretty. So it's a very different experience for her. Connell, the other character, it is a love story, of course, we need at least 2 people. But Connell is much quieter. He's part of the popular group at school when they're younger, and they're not very nice people on the whole. He just kind of stays quiet and, like, doesn't rock the boat. I think for anyone who's, like, moved beyond high school, you can kind of understand that, like, weird shift of, like, these were the people that I grew up with and hung out with in, like, elementary and high school, but, like, do I co-sign on everything they say and do? No. No, I don't. I think the friends that you find and maintain later in life are the ones that you really agree with, hopefully, and, like, share values with and that sort of thing, but I wouldn't say that's the case earlier on, and especially not for Connell. So when he goes off to university, he has the opposite experience of Marianne. He's so quiet, he's finding it very hard to make friends, he feels very alone, he's very smart, but he's not doing very well because he doesn't speak up. They're both really, really smart. So I started with the hook of this song, the chorus, the "If I wanted you and if I needed you, would you turn around and say you need me too?" Which is, like, just all a big question mark and all saying, like, I really like you, but in a way that's very passive, which I think works for both of them, because most of the series and most of the book, I don't know if I dried these long enough yet. I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna flap my arm around until they're drier. But for, you know, I mean, we wouldn't have a story if right at the beginning when they were young, they were like, do you like me? I like you. Okay. That'd be the end. So I wanted to maintain that, like, yearning and that uncertainty through the whole thing. So that really came through in the hook, I believe. I started off with a concept that I ran with. This was a really easy song to write because the story was laid out before me. And I think because I come from a musical theater, not a super musical theater background, but, like, I know it well enough to know character and to know story, that also really helped me, even though this is a pop song. It helped me with the writing of it and like how to translate it all. And it was a really, really quick process, if I'm honest. So I was like, okay, one verse and chorus is gonna be one character, one verse and chorus is gonna be the other character, and then we'll kind of weave it all together. So I started out with Marianne, and I wanted to start in a very sparing way. I wanted this to be kind of like the song is their internal world. So even though Marianne is so like fiery on the outside in a lot of ways, on the inside I wanted it to be very quiet. I wanted the words to be very few and to really feel like you're kind of swimming in her thoughts and her feelings. So we start off with "No one sees the pull you have on me," which is exactly what the story is. They're having a secret relationship at school that they're not to tell anyone else about. It's a force so strong with words I can't quite speak. Again, it's basically just the story. It's a very straightforward song. If I wanted you and if I needed you, would you turn around and say you need me too? So with that, again, with the chorus, I think I had this image in my head of like one person about to leave and the person who's staying, you know, behind because it's their home or whatever, being like, should I say this thing? Should I not say this thing? And like, what would it look like to actually get up the courage and say like, hey, you know? And if they stopped and if the other person said the things, would that make the other person like turn around and say the same thing or say a similar thing? Who knows? Okay, so then we head into what is most people's favorite part. Verse 2 is my first producer's absolute favorite. I think Nick liked it too, and it was a lot of fun to like build up the production of it all. Nick Leung, if you don't know, my castmate, my music producer, my brother, really. So this is when the tempo, I don't think it actually picks up, but it starts to feel like it because we have something like on the beat. I kind of thought of it as like almost like One Step at a Time by Jordan Sparks. Love Jordan Sparks. The da-da-da-da-da with the heels clacking. That's kind of the vibe that I wanted going on there. My phone's blowing up. I don't want to look. I'm distracted right now. I'm trying to be focused, okay? So it starts picking up, and these are the lyrics. The distance is nothing. The need to have you is as sharp as if you were here. It's raining at home, and I wonder how cold it is by you. So in this part of the story, I've imagined that we've gone further along in time. When they're in university in the story, Marianne actually goes away to, I want to say it's Sweden. It's some Scandinavian place where it's very, very cold. The internet's not great. I'm pretty sure this is set in like the 2010s, but she has to go to like an internet cafe where there's literally dial-up. And it was so important to me to have that internet dial-up sound. If y'all know, you know. I remember it fondly as a kid. But my first producer put that in going from chorus 1 to verse 2. And I loved how that kind of like brought us through time and also put us in like such a specific place. So it creates that distance that we're talking about, and it creates like a different time. This is like kind of a period piece at this point, but like, So I wanted to really use a sound that was evocative and fun, and one that we don't really hear anymore, because whenever I hear it I'm like, ooh, like candy for my ears. So every producer since I've been like, please, please, please put the dial-up sound in, and Nick was able to get it in there, so you'll hear that as we go into the second verse. The distance between them is Connell is still at university in Ireland, Marianne's over in some Scandinavian place, and you know, sometimes when you have distance from someone, you feel like it'll make it easier, and sometimes it does. But with certain people, whether they're the right or wrong people, it gets harder. It does. So that's the first two lines. It's raining at home, and I wonder how cold it is by you. Rainy in Ireland, cold in the Arctic Circle area or near it. And then something fun that we added in the production that I just kind of did when I did a last vocal pass for the song was, and I also wrote the lyrics really strangely, I isolated you. Wonder how cold it is by, new line, you. Because I think that's the bottom line. And there's like a lot of space between the end of a stanza and the beginning in this song. So I filled it with like a low and a high, you, to be like, she's bouncing around in Connell's head. Oh, by the way, we're in Connell's brain now, who's very quiet on the outside, but in the inside, I think it's like an anxious, you know, stream of consciousness. So that's why there's so many words all of a sudden. And I also picture with this, like, that he's walking around, you know, in his hometown or like by university. And the visual for me, not of him, but like if it were me in this situation, is like the wind's kind of blowing and you're on a walk and you're like so drama. Like, you know, when you're on a train and you look out the window and you like you listen to music and you pretend you're in a music video. It's like this. Walking around, like there's wind and you're like running your fingers through your hair like, the distance is nothing. Like total drama. So fun. That's the idea. Okay, let's keep going. The time stretches out between us, yet I still feel like a kid, because if I could go back to last year, I'd say all the things I didn't. So there's a part where they meet at university at a party. It's like a pretty awkward encounter, as are many of their encounters. And Connell probably put his foot in his mouth, as he often does. So the time stretches out between us, yet I still feel like a kid. You know, whether it was at that party in university or now that they're in like very different places, physically, geographically, to me it's like, I know that time is passing and we've both gotten older and are getting older, but like I still feel the same as I did when I was a teenager in relation to you. Oh my god, why did that make me emotional? For me, I feel like as I've gotten older, and this is not excusing it at all, but you know when typically dudes, like older dudes, are in relationship with like much younger women, I do not co-sign on that at all. In fact, the opposite. I anti-co-sign on that. But as I've gotten older, I kind of understand it almost a bit more, which does not excuse it, because I, in ways, still feel like, I'm 26, I still remember what it was like when I was 16 and kind of feel the same, but also not. Yeah, and sometimes people can put you back in that place. Like I have quite a few friends that I've known since I was like in very low elementary school, in middle school, in high school, whatever. Sometimes being with certain people can take you back to that place. But here with Connell, I think it's really like, even though we've gotten older, I still have this like feeling for you that I'm not quite ready to own up to. And I still feel like I can't say the right thing to you, you know, all of that. If I could go back to last year, I'd say all the things I didn't. They met at that party last year. I don't know if it was actually a year ago in that time, but like, I said it was last year. If he could go back in time and go to that party, he would not be so awkward and he would not be so skittish. He would actually say what was on his mind. Like, God, it's so good to see you. I've been struggling really hard. I love you? Question mark? Ooh. Okay, chorus again. If I wanted you and if I needed you, would you turn around? Hey, turn around, ooh. There's some fun backing vocals in that. I've completely forgotten that I'm supposed to be doing my nails, so let me resume that activity while I do this. Hold for stool scooting. Ugh. Here we go. And then it continues. If I wanted you and if I needed you, would you turn around and choose to need me too? Now the first time it was say you need me, and the second time it's choose to need me. Because love is a choice in a lot of ways. It's a really vulnerable thing to need someone and admit that you need someone. So when you're choosing that, I mean, that's what love is, as I've been learning in my current / longest / blah 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 everything relationship right now. It is a choice. Like, love can be a feeling, but in terms of like long-term, deep, intimate love, it's really about choosing to show up for someone and choosing to show up for the relationship again and again. You know, like every day it's a recommitment. And I didn't even know that back then when I wrote it, but I think choosing to need someone might even be more vulnerable than saying that you need them, you know? Like, anyone could bullshit that, but like actually needing someone and communicating to them like, hey, I want you and I need you, and I'm gonna keep showing up for you because of that. And not, you know, deny the feelings, which is a lot of what goes on in normal people, is that they deny it and they try to work around it or whatever, but they just keep coming back to each other for a reason. Okay, onward we go. This is the bridge and there is a helicopter or something farting on by in the sky. I hope everyone is well. Usually it means something weird is going on in this city. Anywho, I can't predict how this turns out. All I know is that we have this now. I mean, hey, I've been in a few situationships. I don't remember like the exact timeline of when I wrote the rest of the song. I do remember obviously the very beginning, because that's when I wrote the chorus hook. But this is very applicable to the situationships that I've been. My goodness. Yeah, I don't know where this is going. All I know is that we have the present moment, you know? For them, it's like, are we gonna be together forever or something? Like, is that the reason we keep coming into each other's lives in this way and aren't able to stay away from each other? Ultimately, we're kind of left with, they were there to teach each other a lesson and like give each other this very precious love and show them what's possible and encourage them to be these much more well-adjusted and loved adult people. So, you know, it cuts off at a certain point in the book, but they end up not staying together. And I think that's beautiful, honestly, especially for young people to hear and see as like a relationship model. Like, it can be significant and also not be your life partner or a life partner. I wouldn't even know if I classify them as significant others like at any point throughout the entire story, because they are so not definitive about it and they shy away from it. So there's that. I hold our quiet days deep in my heart, so even if we're far apart, I'll always love you more than you know. This is like the cheesiest part of the song. There might be others. I thought about replacing it or changing it, but love is corny and cheesy sometimes. Like, the truth of it can be very cliche, but cliches are cliches for a reason. They're true. They're true a lot of the time. The quiet days was important to me because there is so much intimacy and quietness. Sorry if this is distracting. There is so much intimacy and quietness in the novel, oh, I just touched my sock with my nail. It's fine, it's fine. I have to be careful. There is so much quietness and intimacy and space in the novel and in the show. And I think having that was really important to me. And also, for some reason, my vocal reference on it's I hold a quiet days deep in my heart. On days, the days, like the diphthong that I really leaned into. My reference was Maggie Rogers. There goes the light. Maggie Rogers, who I'm seeing tomorrow in concert at MSG after a full day at Comic-Con. I don't know why I did that to myself, but I must see Maggie at her first stadium tour. We're just gonna continue on without the light, whatever. You know what I look like down. So yeah, that was the vocal reference. So even if we're far apart, I'll always love you more than you know. Again, that thing of like, we're gonna go into different places and be different people, but like, I will always love you and be grateful for you. Oh, so emo! Okay, so now we're transitioning to the really quiet part. Because I want you and I need you and I know you need me, know you need me too. Same idea. But I know you need me. And because I want you, it's no longer if I wanted you and would you do this. It's now, yes, I am XYZ and I know you are the same thing towards me, which is beautiful, I think. Okay, this is when the counter chorus begins. So we continue with the same melody we've had before. If I wanted you and if I needed you, would you turn around, please turn around. I liked adding the please as like an interesting vocal / like music thing that you can hear, but also like we're still saying if in this one, but we're saying please as well. Not skirting around it being like, well, if this and that, would you maybe do that? We're saying like, if these things, please, I'm begging you, turn around, look at me like one last time, whatever it is. I think because of the music I listen to, like Phoebe Bridgers, etc., and maybe also musical theater, I do not like bringing back lyrics the same way. So the chorus can be similar, but there will be a turn, and the please, and that is the turn for me. And then the counter melody there is, no one's ever loved you the way I love you, the way you love me, the way we fit together like nobody's ever done. The reason I said that the bridge was corny cheesy, but maybe there was another corny cheesy, this is it. It's a really different sound, I think, than we've heard throughout the song. I feel like the If I Wanted You and If I Needed You is Marianne's. She's got the primary melody there, and Connell's got the counter chorus because there's so much, you know, happening. It really is just like, again, that stream of conscious kind of lyric slash sound. So yeah, it's corny, and it's kind of just how love makes you feel sometimes, especially when you're young and it's like your first one. Like, oh my gosh, no one's ever experienced this before, and no one's ever, like, you know, physically, emotionally ever been like us before, which is obviously not true, but it's very, very sweet. Moving on, If I Wanted You and If I Said I Needed You, would you turn around and tell me you need me too? Again, this is another little turn. We're back with the if, but this time it's if I said I needed you. Not even like if you deduced from how I exist in a very standoffish way that I need you. No, it's I'm going to say that I need you. And would me actually vocalizing this mean that you will do the things that we've been talking about this whole entire time? Counter there is, no one and nothing can ever take away the way I feel about you, the way you feel about me, you know that I love you, I do. I love that syncopation in there. I love a little syncopa. Yeah, I mean, it's just the truth. Like, whatever happens for, oh my god, I'm getting so emotional. Is my period coming? Anyway, and this, please read Normal People, but like I specifically cite the last scene, the last like couple pages in the book so much in this song and like other songs and in my life because they are so poignant. And I really feel like these two lines embody what those pages are, like this feeling of like wrapping up and like, wow, we've, I think the quote is they did a lot of good for each other. Connell like taught Marianne that she is worthy and she deserves love and full love and like real love and not, you know, abuse, neglect, violence, etc. There is some of that in it, so content warning. And for Connell and coming from Marianne, it's like, you are capable of these things. You should speak up. You are very smart. You know, you're charming. People, it's like, you don't have to be any type of way for people to like you. They will like you. Open your mouth. Share with people. Yeah, it's a really beautiful thing they gave each other the knowledge of their worth in a way, which as young people especially is like so invaluable. So yeah, love. Anyway, this is a small part. Turn around and say you need me, which is a very intimate little vocalization. And I always will. It's a continuation of what they individually were saying before, but it's also kind of a response to what the other person just said. For the melody, obviously, it's the same but a little flip, turn around, say you need me. And for the counter, it's, they just said, you know that I love you, I do. And now they're saying I always will. But also they're answering the question before, turn around and say you need me. I always will. I will always need you, I will always want you. But our lives are going different ways right now. And our lives are going different ways right now. They can be true at the same time. All right, we're almost there. I know you need me, I'll be here for you, which is kind of one person, I think. I think that's, I don't know. I think this last stanza could be like two lines are one character, two is the other character. It could also just all be Marianne, I honestly believe. I know you need me, I'll be here for you. You know I need you, you'll see me someday soon. And it was very important for me that the end, it just cut off on soon. We've had other versions where it did different things, and I love what Nick did here, kind of finding a middle ground of like, we've used this telephone sound throughout to help create that distance and that time, and that last line, you know, fades from a full voice to a telephone voice. So it's like they've gone their separate ways, and they're still checking in on one another and still care for each other, but like, you know, it's time, it's a new chapter. And yeah, I love this because it turns the phrases and is also such a comfort. Like, we both know how much we mean to each other, and this is very special, and we'll like in whatever ways feel good, continue to hold this space for one another. But who knows when we'll meet again, you know? So that is normal. There's probably more to say about like the references I had. There's a whole playlist that my first producer and I made, and I've continued to add to over the years because I first started working on this song with him in like 2022. So it's been a while, or maybe even 2021. I can't remember. But yeah, that is the gist of it all. Those are all the lyrics. This song is really, really special to me for a lot of reasons. And I think especially as I've like grown and had relationships to mostly not success, but success in the way that I learned a lot, this song has become even more important to me. I feel like I have grown with it, and it's bittersweet for me in a lot of ways, which is, I think, apropos, because that's what the story that it's based on is. So if you made it through this far, I really, really appreciate it. Please go stream normal, share it with people on TikTok and Instagram. Please use it as like a sound on your reels. I don't actually know if I've put it up on Instagram, so I'll try to do that if it's not there, and if I remember, we'll see. But yeah, I would super appreciate if you gave it a listen and shared it with other people and used it online for your fan cams and for whatever else you want. Thanks for painting half of my nails with me. I still have to obviously go back and fix it because I'm so bad at it. I just paint my fingertips and then I go back and like erase with acetone, but I still have to put a clear coat on and do the other hand. So I appreciate you being here with me to listen to the stuff about the song and as I do this stuff. But I gotta get my stuff together because I'm leaving in like an hour and a half to see my friends. Appreciate you guys endlessly. I hope you're having a wonderful October. It's my favorite month of the year. Get your spooky on, get your cozy on, whatever suits ya. And hopefully I will be back soon with not as long of a gap between the videos. We'll see. Again, if you have any ideas for stuff you'd like to see from me, content-wise, series, video, questions for a Q&A, whatever it is, let me know. I'd be happy to engage and I would appreciate the ideas, to be honest. Okay, I'll see you soon. Bye!